I'm now going to log into the system as a compliance officer and demonstrate some of its functionality. First up, I arrive at the page where I manage my FSPs, their key individuals and reps. I add a new FSP to my list of FSPs and can capture additional information regarding this FSP, such as the organizational type, financial year end, date it was authorized by the FSP, product categories it's authorized to sell, its CMS accreditation number, and more. I now add the first person to this FSP. Apart from this person's name and email address, I can also capture additional information such as the product categories the person is authorized to sell, the person's CMS accreditation number, and the roles assigned to this person within the system. These roles determine which sections and information the person may access within the system. Lastly, I choose to send this person an invitation email that contains human-friendly instructions on how they can join the compliance system. A range of registers that support the risk management plan can be managed electronically by the compliance officer, FSP, key individual, and representatives. These registers include gifts, training, rep register, products authorized to sell, early termination, production register, medical schemes, serious complaints, product supplier, and lastly, the compliance officer visit schedule. I'm going to add an entry to the rep register. I choose a person, his status, date when it occurred, reason if any, and the KI status if applicable. The entry is added to the FSP's rep register. I'm just going to have a look at a couple of the other registers. The early termination register records the policy number, the policy type, the date of termination, documents to be uploaded, premium amount, processed by the FSP, reason for termination, replacement, and the date that it was inspected by the compliance officer. The production register keeps record of policy holders, policy number, the product supplier, type of policy, the representative, the date, the payment intervals, and the premium amount. Lastly, the medical schemes register records who the accreditation was given to. If it's a person, I can select the person and what type of event occurred. If the accreditation lapsed, I can specify a reason, and lastly, save a date. Key individuals can easily view all applicable registers in the FSP, while compliance officers get an overview of all the client's registers. FSPs are required by Section 13 of the FASE Act to have procedures in place to ensure that representatives comply with fit and proper and General Code of Conduct requirements. Furthermore, the FSP is also required to comply with their licensing conditions and need to notify the registrar of any changes in the contact information of the FSP within 15 days from any change occurring. The monthly questionnaires provide just such a solution to FSPs to exercise their obligations effortlessly and keep a solid compliance track record. The system distributes the monthly questionnaires to all key individuals, representatives, and where applicable, internal compliance contact persons. The questionnaires are customized for the reps, the call center agents, the internal compliance contacts, the JSE, key individuals with, key individuals without, directors, reps under supervision, and intermediaries. I've received quite a number of rep monthly questionnaires and want to determine who the reps are that are non-compliant so that I can assist them in becoming compliant. I'm going to apply a filter to the questionnaires. The filter is like a question that I ask the system, and the system replies with a list of questionnaires that contains information that matches my question. I would like to see records that match any of the following criteria for the past 30 days. In this drop-down, I see a list of all the questions from the questionnaire and select one where I know that if the answer is no, the rep is non-compliant. I add another question and filter the data to see the results. I can now save this filter to quickly reuse it in future. I give it a title and a description, and save. The filter appears under my list of favorite filters for this questionnaire. I can now do the same for all my questionnaires and registers. I've previously created and saved a very complex filter covering all the questions. Once a month, I activate this filter the information, and see if there are any FSPs or reps that need assistance in becoming compliant. This filter saves a lot of time. The competency profiles keep track of and consolidate key individuals and reps' competency, their qualifications, exams, experience, and supervision. I'm going to start a new competency profile for myself. I've got a matric certificate. Next up, I can add the subcategories that I'm qualified in. I choose the subcategory, service, and DOFA. I can also provide information about my qualifications. I can upload documents as proof of my qualifications, which exams I wrote, my experience, and my supervision dates. These dates are used by the system to automatically remind me 2, 5, and 6 years later that my deadlines are approaching. My competencies are now listed, including the number of months I've got experience. I repeat this process for each of my subcategories. Suppose I'm a rep under supervision for a specific category. I can start a supervision plan. I choose my supervisor and date the supervision starts. The supervision plan is set up once and is then revisited and used during the entire supervision period. I can fill in a couple of the details and save the plan at any time. All the information is saved and outstanding required information is highlighted in red to draw attention next time I access the supervision plan. If my supervisor had a competency profile on the system, then her experience would have pulled it through here. During the supervision period, the rep is required to perform certain supervision activities. I'm going to add the first supervision activity. The activity is captured and I have the opportunity to provide more detail about what the activity entails, such as the type of training, date, whether I've received accreditation, and whether the supervisor has signed off the activity. Similar to TCF within the risk management plan, I can also assign tasks to others and myself, upload evidence to prove the activity has been performed, and discuss it with my supervisor.